So this is the second video in this back to school sort of series, and it's going to be some advice. That's hot. Number one, don't drink hot coffee. No, I'm joking. Not so nice to frothy milk. So I've got a list on my new refill pad, which you'll have seen in yesterday's video, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's linked in the description below. That was a what's in my bag for school, what's in my school bag basically video. And I'm just going to how many times can I say basically in one video? I'm just going to go through and give you my advice on what I think will help going back to school, and especially for going back to sixth form, because that's what I'm doing. It's my second year in sixth form. I'll be going into year 13, so obviously I've had the experience of year 12. It's made me have that massive kick up my ass. I think, hey, yeah, crap, I need to revise. Anyway, tip number one is I've got like 4 tips that are all sort of to do with organisation in general, so I'll class them as 4 separate tips. But first of all, get a wall planner. So you can probably see here, I have one that I've started using. There, you can go down there, you can see this one completely off, but I'm crossing off the days as we've done them, so that's why it looks like I've got a lot written in there, but it's actually just I've done that day. And you can either get one of these off Amazon, they're usually quite cheap, or I made this one. It's just literally, because there's not many A3 ones that exist, and I wanted it to fit in here, but so I'd still have room to keep stuff around the edges and that. As you can see, I am doing so. That's definitely a must, because then you can have like, not a countdown as such, but like when you've got like things coming up, and it just makes things a lot less stress-free when you're trying to organise your life, because you can see it all on one piece of paper. And also have a diary, as you probably have seen this one yesterday. This is like key for organising your life, especially if you're obviously in school. And usually you'll get given one by the school, and if you do use that one, then use that one, because you need a diary of some sort. But when you're in lower schools, so like year 7 to year 11, they tend to want, well, kind of more to year 10, year 11 they start not really caring. They kind of get your parents to sign it, so it'll probably be better for you to use the actual school diaries. But once you get to sixth form, it's like, as long as you've got a diary to write something down in, then you're fine. And just make sure, because I know there's different ways of like writing it down and stuff, so when you get homework, definitely write it down. I know some people like to write it down on the day it's due rather than the day that you get set it, but I would definitely recommend writing it down on the day it's set and then putting on the day it's due, history due, for example. And then this is like going into another tip. Make sure you actually do your homework, well, at least try to do your homework on the day or the night that it's given to you. So say if on the Monday I got set 500 words about Napoleon to write about, I would try and do that on the Monday, either in one of my frees or in that evening. What else? Yeah, so then, and also with your diary, you can like colour code it, so you could have like school and work stuff and social stuff in there, but like different colours, and then you can have like different colours for different subjects if you want. That's what I'm planning on doing. So I've just got, at the moment I've just basically got black in there because it's just like normal stuff. And then I think by the looks of things I've put social and in pink, but I'm probably going to change that because I think history is pink in my timetable. So basically I'm going to colour code mine based on the colours of my timetable lessons, which if you look in the video before, around, I want to say around 20 minutes, you'll probably see it, maybe a bit earlier, I'm not sure. And also if you go to a school where either you have no uniform or you're at sixth form, where generally you don't wear a uniform once you get to sixth form unless you're at a grammar school. Some grammar schools are different though, but I know that Eve Bennett, shout out to Eve, she goes to a grammar school up north and they have to wear a uniform and then there's other schools where they have like not a uniform as such, but it's like you have to wear. Say if you're a boy, you have to wear like a suit jacket, like a suit and trousers, sort of like a suit basically. But it's not like you have to wear the school uniform sort of thing. But if you're in America and you don't wear a uniform, or if you're like me at sixth form or at college or somewhere like that, university, if you try and plan your like outfit the night before, then it will save you so much time in the morning. So like say you can there's like one of two ways you can do this. So you can like plan the night before like an outfit for if it's cold, an outfit if it's hot, and then you've got a choice of two in the morning and you can double check the weather. Or you can just look at the weather, and on iPhone it's quite good. If you literally just before you go to bed, when you like click on the hours, like so you know how on the Apple weather thing it comes up and then it's got the hours of the day, and then you just scroll across and it will take you to the next day, and it will show you at least up to about 3. It depends what sort of time you look at it, but it will show you the majority of the day, and if not, you can go on BBC Weather and it will show you, and then you can decide then what you're going to wear the next day, and then when you get up in the morning, you're like, right, that's what I'm wearing, sorted. And then even if you don't like properly organise what you're going to wear, and you just have a rough idea, that's still going to save you a lot of time. So I could just think when I get into bed, oh yeah, I think I might wear that tomorrow, and then I just wear that, because if it's the right weather for what I thought of the night before, then I can just shove that on, and then that's fine. Rather than having to like get up in the morning and be like, I don't know what to wear. And also looking at the weather is also really helpful to narrow down what you need to wear. So like if it's going to be like rainy all day, you don't want to be there in a summer dress, that sort of thing. Right, next one is sleep. Obviously, you need to make sure you get enough sleep when you're at school, but after the summer, everyone's sleeping patterns just literally go everywhere. So I suggest going to sleep and getting up like as you would do for school 1 or 2 weeks before you go back. So say, is it 2 weeks before we go back already? That's 2.5. So I might start like tonight, for example. I probably won't start till next week. But going to bed at like 10:30, because obviously this never actually happens when I'm at school, but it's like an aim. Go to bed at like 10:30 and then get up at about 5:45, something like that. Because if I'm going to walk into school for 7:30, because I like to be there early, and then if I wanted to walk in, then I'd have to leave at about 6:30. Then I'd have to get up at those times anyway. So if I do practice doing that, and even if you just go out for a walk, so it's like you're leaving for school and then come back and do what you need to do that day, then it will help you get back into the rhythm of actually doing the stuff that you need to do and getting up in time for school. And then when you get to that first day back, it's going to be a lot easier to actually get up. And obviously this is probably a bit late. Well, I mean, it's not technically the last week, but we've got 2.5 weeks left. Ideally, all of your summer work will be done by now, if not by the end of this week. You don't want to leave your summer work to the last minute, because teachers go, well, it's summer work, so you've got 6 weeks to do it. So sometimes there can be quite a lot. Like we had to draft our whole coursework for history, and English we had to read 2 books and then plan our coursework, and plus the Othello booklet as well. So that's like basically 4 things just for one subject, and then one massive thing for history. We didn't actually get anything for politics this year, but you definitely need to do your summer work in general. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more difficult when you get back into school, especially if you're just starting year 12. They set you a lot of stuff that's like background information for the subjects that you're going to be studying, and if you don't do your summer work, you're going to really struggle when you get back there, because even though sometimes it's not completely to do with the course, it definitely helps you to understand the course more. So like with the French Revolution one, it was just to do with like we had to read this like extract from I think it was an interpretation rather than a source, like because interpretation is like written by a historian, and the source is written in the time. And we had to read that and just answer a load of questions on it. And even though that's not like, it was to do with French Revolution, but even though it's not like directly in the course, it helps you to understand the course and how the exam works, because we have to analyse the source and answer questions on it as you would have to kind of do in an exam. So I would definitely recommend doing summer work because it just makes life so much easier and you don't get hassled by the teachers then as well. So next is I keep looking down just because I've got my little list of things here, because it just makes, otherwise I'm just going to literally be umming and ahhing every 2 seconds. And it's just not fun for you or anyone. If I've got it planned out, then it's a lot easier. So revision timetables are very helpful, especially when it comes into exams. And you could do like a homework timetable / revision. Well, if you're in year 13, a revision timetable would probably be good to start the year off with, because then you can have like allotted times for when you're going to revise the stuff that you did back in AS. So you could have like after school on a Wednesday, week 1, I'm going to revise AS French Revolution, and then after school on a Wednesday, week 2, I'm going to revise whatever. And then you can also timetable stuff in for like homework stuff in as well, or you can just do it if you just don't have the commitment levels to be able to, as I do, stick to your revision timetable. You can just every evening when you get home, or like when you're about to leave school, just write a to-do list of everything you want to do that evening or have got to do, and don't just include like homework. Don't just say if like, I don't know, you do like rowing as I do on a Monday and a Wednesday, and sometimes Thursday depending. But say if that, so like I do, say I go in on a Monday and I'm leaving school and I've got history and politics and a chapter of a book to read for English. I'd write them things down. I say if the history wasn't due until the following Monday, I might not put that on Monday's to-do list. I might put that on the Tuesday one, because obviously I've got the whole week to do it. And if I have rowing as well, there's no way I'm going to have the ability to be able to put 3 massive pieces of homework in, fit that in after finishing rowing at around 8:30 at night, because I want to be I don't want to be up till midnight, because that's just not going to help my sleeping pattern, and it's just going to make it a lot more difficult to actually learn and be able to do education, even though it already is like that. It'd be a lot more difficult if I had like little sleep. So there's that, and also you can plan your free periods. So if you remember yesterday, I might put a screenshot of this in somewhere. Don't know where yet. Maybe I'll just slot it in here, or maybe not. I don't even know. But no, I'm not gonna put the screenshot in of it because it's not a very good detailed one. But you can say like on a Wednesday, week 1, period 1, you will revise French Revolution, or you will do your French Revolution homework, and then you can always put in homework ones as well during your free periods, rather than just having like a free period and then you being sat there with that, don't know which piece of homework to do because I've got so much, that sort of thing. Or you can, even if you don't like timetable in your free periods what you're going to do, you can, what I did this year is because I didn't like working in like the silent study areas, because everyone was always in there, and even though it is a silent study, everyone just talked anyway, and it was more of a socialite. It wasn't really more of a social thing, but it seemed more of a social thing than actual study thing. So it's easier to go to one of the free rooms, and if you've got a certain few of free rooms that you actually enjoy going to, you can write down when they're free in your timetable, and then you can go there rather than sitting in the silent study. And obviously you've still got the option of going to the silent study there, but you, instead of having to go and look up where the free rooms are, you've got it in your planner already and you can just go straight there. So that's a good idea as well. That's just sort of a tangent that I've gone off on again. I love it. Did that yesterday, I'm doing it again today. There's something else I was going to say about free periods, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. And even if you do sometimes find yourself thinking, I have nothing to do, one thing I would suggest doing is like pre-revising. So like typing up your notes for the lesson that you've just done. So say if I just finished politics, which this is going to be happening a lot for me after politics lessons, I would then go to the time study and use a laptop, or use a computer, or use my iPad, and then type up my notes that I made during that lesson into a more condensed, concise, revisionable style. So then when it comes to revision for that subject at the end of the year, I don't have to like rush being like, I need to type up a load of stuff, I need to make sure to know, because it's already done for me. Because I started doing that year 13, like after we finished our exams, we started year 13 technically. So after that, I was like typing up all my notes after politics and that, because it just means, because I knew I was going to fail, to be honest. I was like, because it just makes it a lot easier when I get to my exams. So I tried to make revision guides for my subjects, but there was like, I think the only one I actually finished was the French Revolution one, and then possibly the Tudors one, or maybe only the Tudors one. I definitely finished one of my history ones, but I didn't finish any of the other subjects. So I was like, okay, that went well. Right, equipment is the next thing I'm gonna like talk about. You need to like, how many times can I say like? Jesus Christ. Anyway, focus. Equipment you need to get not the last week before you go back to school, because shops just genuinely aren't going to have the stock, because they want to get people in earlier. So I suggest going maybe like at least a week before the last week of school, because otherwise you're just not going to get any of it, and it's pointless, pretty much pointless in going. Obviously they will still have some stock in, and hopefully most stores will be stocking as much as they can, but some places might not have any of the stuff that you really wanted left. So I went last week and they didn't have any of the pencils that I wanted. So even now it's like 3 weeks. When I went, it was like 3 weeks before we went back to school, and they didn't have the stuff I wanted, all the stuff I wanted. Like there was a particular folder I wanted. I didn't get that because I didn't have it in the end. And there was a particular like set of pencils that I wanted, and they didn't have that either. But they are ordering another set in, so hopefully when I go into work on Thursday they'll have them and I'll be able to grab them then. Something like that, which would be great. And also before you go like stationery or equipment shopping, make like a list. Some schools have a list that's like required for you, so you could just like print that off or like write it down, and then you can always add the stuff that you want as well on top of that. So like obviously I had all my stuff that I actually needed for school, like folders, pencils, pencil case, pens, highlighters, etc. But then I also wanted like a little purse so I could put like hand sanitizer and stuff in. Hand sanitizer, obviously, paracetamol, I need to get some of that actually. I don't actually know where my list for that is. Oh, it's down on the floor there. Yeah, and then if you plan in advance where they sell those things that you want to get them from, then you can work out how much you're going to need to spend as well. So that's what I've done. And then like it might be easier to get some of the stuff off Amazon and like stuff like that, rather than going into a store. So like with my like plastic folders, like Polly Pocket style things, I can get really like good quality thick ones. I think it's like 100 of them for about £3.60 or something like that. Whereas if I went into Wilko, I could get about 10 for £1. And then if you like add that up, then it's like I'd get 30 pretty much for the same price, or maybe 40 if we round it up. Let's say I get 40 for like £4, and it's about the same for the 100. So obviously I'm going to choose the 100. And also like my dividers, they're cheaper to get the really good dividers on Amazon than it is to go into say Asda or whatever. So it's just stuff like that. Look for bargains, because stationery can be really expensive. And also I haven't put this on here, but I do recommend doing it. I just thought of it then. When you're going to A-level especially, because of all the cuts to education that's happening at the moment, which is just great, we love the government. Schools generally as a whole, unless you go to a private school or like maybe a grammar school, I don't know, but I know our school, especially the history department, and I think English as well, they don't have the funds to be able to buy the textbooks for you. So I would definitely go on Amazon, email your teacher for a start, or because it's results day this Thursday actually, I think it's Tuesday, so it will be the day after tomorrow when this goes up. Well, and now it is the day after tomorrow, so I'm hopefully going to upload this one tonight as well. yesterday I uploaded on the day, and hopefully this will go the same today. But yeah, just get like your textbooks and stuff. So I've got mine here at the moment. I think I made a video on this, possibly. These ones are really good for history, the Oxford AQA ones. And I'm pretty sure that I think geography have the similar ones as well. And then what are these ones called? I think it's like Studying the Life. Oh no, the York Notes ones are really good for English as well. So that's my Streetcar Named Desire one. You can either get, say if you start the year off with 4 and you're planning to stick with those 4, you can get just AS ones if you wanted to drop one at the end of your AS, but I'm not sure if the AS is running in most places anymore, so that was basically pointless in me saying any of that. What else? I think that's it. Just make sure you are organised before the last week of school. Start going to bed earlier before you go back. Last week of school? Last week of summer. Make sure you're going to bed early and getting up earlier so you're into the routine of like school life before, like at least a week before you need to start doing that. So maybe like this goes up on Tuesday today. I'm going back the Wednesday after next. So say like tomorrow, if you're the same as me, maybe like tomorrow start going to bed early, or even next Wednesday start going to bed early. So you've got that whole week in advance, or even next Monday, because like the bank holiday, if you start going to bed early then it might make things a bit easier for getting into routines. But obviously if you've got some random off thing where you're not, say like a party, or you're going to the theatre or something like ostentatious. It's a good word actually. Let's use that more often. Like that. Then obviously that's going to happen sometimes when you're at school anyway, but just try and get up on time, as in early, like school on time, so that you're used to that routine, and then organise yourself, get a diary, get a wall planner. I will leave a link to a copy of my wall planner, so that if you wanted to use that one, then you can. It's literally just the year, but it's an academic one, so I've got it from August to August, I think. Yeah, August this year to August next year, and then I can just go from there and sort of like that. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped. I filmed for so long again. I just jabber. It's my problem. But although parts of it are like, you know. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful, and I'm filming my like outfit looks tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm gonna get Toby to film them, and I've organised it today, so I know what I'm gonna be wearing for it. And my hair was still wet now. Otherwise, he was like, "We can do it now." I was like, "My hair's wet. No, we can't." So yeah, that's that basically. Jacob's not being quiet again, even though I precisely told him I was filming. So thanks, Jake. Good one, Jake! I'm not filming! So yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. I hope you've enjoyed this. Goodbye.